independent festivals, deities, and methods of worship, ethics, rules, and regulations, and they also have their own special independent culture. According to Vishal Sharma and Datta Kulhare, in their books, they have mentioned tribal literature is not only an exploration of our culture, historical features, but it is an exploration of tribal groups and tribal life. Tribal literature is a step taken in the comprehensive transformation of tribal society. Ganga Sahai Meena, an expert of tribe literature, explains tribe literature as tribal literature is the literature of search for identity, of exposing the past and present form of exploitation by outsiders, and of threats to tribal identity and existence and resistance. According to R. Gupta in his book Adivasi Sahitya Yatra, he explained tribal literature is literature related to forest culture. Tribal literature is the literature of the underprivileged living in those forests whose questions have never been answered in the past. This is the literature of such people whose anger have never been listened by mainstream social systems. Further, he added, tribal literature is discovery of ancient history of the culture. It is word form of primitive pain and experience originating from this land. Tribal literature is live literature by raising the questions of all-round upliftment of the primitive. It is challenging the establishment social system. At the same time, it has also begun to hold the idea of social construction and integral life of primitives. The theme of this literature is that classless, casteless social systems should be created among the primitive groups which did not belong to the tribals. This literature would never accept it. The nature of tribal literature is extensive, whether it is the literature written on the written on the Gond or on the Halba or Wheel or any other tribe. Sahityakar Ram Senalkar says, wherever tribal groups live in the world, all the literature related to them will be included in the tribal literature. Till now, this literature is going to show the latent pain, and the word today's tribal literature is the dawn of new awakening. According to Wikipedia, I would like to mention here also the definition given by Wikipedia. Tribal literature is literature written on tribal. Wikipedia explains actually three theories. According to Wikipedia, there are three theories. According to the first theory, tribal literature is literature written on tribals. Second, it is literature written by the tribals. And third, it is literature written written about tribes philosophy. Let's see some Indian language tribal writers. Most of them represent their identity, traditional or historical transformed images, rituals, and social structure of their own common but in diversified manner. Diverse tribal writings include tribal and non-tribal writers. They have written poetry, stories, novels, and plays. Tribes are important part of their epics also. Ruskin Bond in his story The Tiger in Tunnel, Madhuri Ramesh and Manish Chande in his book Speaking to an Elephant, Gladson Dung Dung in Adivasi and Their Forest, as well Crossfire as well, Alice Ekka and Alice Ekka की कहानियाँ, all are stories. Some novels like The Strange Case of Billy Biswas, written by Arun Joshi, The Princess by Manohar Malgonkar, River Sutras, written by Geeta Mehta, The Coffee Dams of Kamala Markandeya, Choti Munda of Mahashweta Devi, etc. are some novels which have depicted the tribal identity in their works. Prose like बस्तर इतिहास एवं संस्कृति ऑफ लाला जगदलपुरी, बस्तर एक अध्ययन रिटन बाय डॉक्टर राम कुमार बिहार जी, आदिवासियों के घोटुल ऑफ डॉक्टर नारायण चौरे, बस्तर भूषण ऑफ पंडित केदारनाथ ठाकुर जी, भूमकाल बस्तर का भूचाल ऑफ सुधीर सक्सेना जी, पोइट्री लाइक मोडरी ऑफ नरेंद्र पाढ़ी जी, इंद्रावती बाय विक्रम सोनी जी. These are basically from tribes area like Bastar, and they are less known by the people. Some tribal writers like Hansda Savendra Sekhar, the Adivasi will not dance, and Regina Munda, Isran Kire, Nandini Sundar, Gopinath Mohanty, etc. are echoing voices of literature. I have tried to share depiction of tribals in some of the above works in the story. The tiger in the tunnel of Ruskin Bond. Here, one character, Tembu, is 12 years old tribal boy. He is son of Baldev, who was working as a was living in the tribal village with mother and sister on the outskirts on the forest. Baldev is a watchman, and his main work was giving signal to the train. Collection of folklore speaking to an elephant and other tales from the Kadars feature the word of Kadars, types of tribal community, small community in South India. Originally narrated to the authors by Kadar elders, these stories recall ways of living in forest habitat that hold lesson for all those interested in regrowing our forests. The unnoticed society that exists on the periphery is prodigally featured in Arun Joshi's novel Strange Case of Billy Biswas, as well as Kamla Markandeya's Coffer Dame, Mahasweta Devi's Choti Munda and his arrow, Gopinath Mohanty's The Ancestors, as well as Manohan Malgonkar, the princess, Gita Mehta's The Rita Sutras. Tribe's life has been depicted in very keen perspective in Mahasweta Devi's Choti Munda and his arrow, and also in Kamala Markandeya's The Coffer Dams. In the novel Choti Munda and his arrow, the author portrays the life struggle of Munda tribes to settle in a place to lead a life of forest products and agriculture, resisting against the federal oppressor during the colonial period and political power after independence. She relates the tribal displacement forest eviction from the forest land they belong to and federal oppressions by the landlord, making them a bonded labor. In the same way, Kamla Markandeya also explained about the tribal displacement. In this novel Choti Munda, the tribal displacement from their forest land where they possesses a sense of belonging in portrayal right from opening passages of the novel. There is one I would like to mention here quote. However remote the place he travels to, something will come out from underground immediately. A big settlement will grow there. His Mundari world will shrink. He does not want anything after all. Small village, all Adivasi worshippers of God Dharam, followers of priest their power. The central character, Choti grandfather Putti Mundas, has faced problems after his displacement from that place. As well, like Mahasweta Devi, Kamla Markandeya, in her work, The Copper Thames, also mentioned story of displacement of a tribe family. In her novel, The Kaffir Dams, Markandeya similarly portrays the dwindling tribal life and culture as the development process are enforcing to the tribes to uproot themselves from their ethnic space. The displacement of the tribe from their land for the construction of the hydroelectric power station dam makes them a suppressed group based on their social positioning by both the colonizer and the Indian from mainstream society. The forcefully eviction of the tribe is portrayed through the character Basyan and orphans. In the same way, Gopinath Mohanty is known for his bold attempt in raising canon in tribal literature. He has well depicted tribal identity in his novel The Ancestors, as well as Mohanty has explained many aspects of tribes in his novel. Also, according to him, the Parja tribe community worship a number of gods and deities for their well-being. In the one more 1 minute only. In the novel The Strange Case of Billy Biswas by Arun Joshi, Billy discovers peace and happiness in wooded areas and with tribes. However, the sounds and beauty of disparate forest life still rang in his ears. He returned to city life. Uh, thank you very much.